Okay, so today we're going to be talking about mini bosses. Mini bosses are nasty, nasty critters that can mess up your whole day. If you get the wrong combination of mini boss effects, it can just completely end your game. You can just auto lose. There's some things that you just can't beat. There are certain combinations of enemies that are so deadly and so horrible that you just basically ignore them and hope that it doesn't end your game.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about all the different kinds of mini bosses today. We're going to talk about all the different terrible, terrible effects that they can potentially spawn with, and how to combat these things effectively and weather the storm and win these matches.
So I heard that there's 4 main types of attacks that you need to focus on, and all the other little ones aren't as, you can't really have a strong strategy against them. So
Right. So there are a bunch of effects, and 4 of them are horrible, horrible effects. The worst one by far being smoke screens.
yeah.
Smoke screens is a nightmare ability, just a nightmare. Smoke screen means that the mini boss is going to have a giant cloud surrounding them. It is just the worst. The smoke screen will not only limit what you're able to see, like trying to actually chase down a smoke screen guy means you're going to be shooting, trying to attack into a cloud where half the time you can't even see the enemy. But it's actually worse than that. Smoke screen completely disables your ability to do weapon damage. So any gun, any explosive is going to do next to nothing against an enemy with a smoke screen on them. The only way to fight a smoke screen enemy effectively is to use gadgets like your turrets or your rockets or your proximity mines. Any of your gadgets will be very effective. Slow field is your best friend in the whole world. If you have slow field versus a mini boss, oh man, winning. If you can slow them down, you can keep them from moving around, you can keep them from punching your walls, you keep them disabled, you buy yourself time. Time is what you need. Time to deal with these enemies. So now when you're fighting a smokescreen enemy, you want to use those gadgets, you want to use all of your abilities. Abilities are not affected by weapon disablers. So you can use your teddies, you can use your shock towers, your grenades, your shockwaves, your miniguns, which are really, really big. If you have a good minigun character on your team, they're going to wreck those mini bosses real hard. You take a huge chunk of their health out. But the most important thing, because those are temporary solutions, is swords. If you got a really super crazy high DPS sword, this is your time to shine. If you can bring a sword into a smokescreen battle, you're going to win so long as you don't die.
Yep.
But therein lies the problem, is that often in the worst case scenario of smokescreen enemies, you will sometimes encounter horrible effects like damaged pulse or frenzy. If an enemy has frenzy, they will target you and you won't be able to do anything. Like there are some kinds of bosses that are so tanky, like tanks, and so they will do so much damage to your base that trying to take them down with swords, even though you're having the perfect counter for this enemy, you're just not killing him fast enough. Or he's killing you with some supplemental effect that you just can't account for. Because having to be forced into a melee situation means you're very vulnerable. Right? You're very vulnerable. If anything comes and looks at you, or if anything attacks you, you can't dodge. You're right there. So, it's rough. Smokescreen is the worst of the worst. So, but that's your options. Your options are gadgets, special abilities, and melee. That's the only way to fight a smokescreen enemy.
And then I hear that the next worst one trap vulnerable?
It depends if you get caught. If you get caught with your pants down.
Right.
See, the trap vulnerable is a funny one, because the trap vulnerable is either the worst or the easiest enemy in the universe. It's
True.
the worst if you are being a overconfident, elitist butt who is building a pyramid and being like, I'm just gonna shoot my way through everything,
Right.
and then all of a sudden a trap vulnerable mini boss appears out of nowhere, and you're like, oh no, I don't have any traps ready. Boom, boom, boom. He just like smacks right through your base, and you're like, dang it, no, my walls are wrecked, and what? You can't hurt him. You cannot do any damage to a trap vulnerable enemy unless you use traps.
Yeah.
So in a base where you actually were playing properly and you had traps all over the place, that guy's gonna get rocked like a hurricane. He'll walk into your base and just get completely like blah, like dead, so dead. So it depends. He can be so easy or so horrible, depending on how prepared you are for that guy to show
What's
up.
the best trap to put down really quickly?
You know what? It
Roof with a gas trap? Or?
It depends on the situation.
Right.
Quite often, when you get caught with your pants down fighting a trap vulnerable boss, you're going to be on like a repair the shelter.
Right.
So he's going to get on the inside of your walls, inside the base, in a big 3x3 area. It's all cramped, and you're in it, and you can't place any roof traps, right? So he's inside, but the roof, you can't touch roof.
Yeah,
So
true.
your only real options to fight him at that point is like wall dynamos and broadside traps, or even wall darts. Like you're just desperate at that point.
Walls.
Wall dynamos would be your best bet.
Right,
It's the
right.
most damage you're going to do. Is just like, and you're desperate at that point. You're just like, he's attacking my wall. Wall dynamos on the inside,
no.
please hit him.
Anybody?
Please hit him.
Sometimes they teleport into your defender that's on the roof, and like in your 1x1 or your box.
Yeah,
And then you
mini
have
bosses are horrible. They can choose to teleport wherever they want. Sometimes they'll teleport directly into the middle of your base without breaking any walls.
Yeah.
Just be like, I'm inside now.
I've
Ba
had that.
ba ba ba.
It's been a trap vulnerable inside a defender box, and you have to like quickly run upstairs to put the trap. up.
Right. They can teleport on the roof where all your sniper defenders are hanging out, and then that's a bad day. He just starts eating them all.
That was a fail.
And yeah, he just wrecks all your defenders go down, and your base gets overwhelmed, and it's just like it's horrible. So really, if you have roof pieces open, the best way to beat a trap vulnerable boss, as you'll see me do frequently, is I'll run right up to him and I'll box him in, and I'll just gas on the roof.
Right.
And I'll just build him in. Every time he tries to punch a wall, I'll just be like holding the wall up, and I'll just wait for that gas to hit him, and just keep triggering over and over. And I'll just hold the wall. I'll hold him.
Your battle royale technique.
Yeah, just battle royale. Just build battle him in. Don't let him run out of the box. Just hold him in. Maybe I'll make a 2x2 box and then get him to chase me back and forth,
Right.
so that the traps hit him more often. It's like stuff like that works really, really effectively to kill a trap vulnerable mini boss.
All right. Is the next worst one Ricochet?
Yeah, there's Ricochet, and what's the other
Damage
one?
pulse.
Yeah. It's like, which one's worse, Ricochet or Damage Pulse? These are both nightmare scenarios, because it really depends. Ricochet by itself is not the end of the world.
Okay.
Ricochet with with
How do you even deal with Ricochet? Like in Frostnite, that was so difficult.
it's hard. Ricochet is horrible. Ricochet
worst
means
one in
that you
Frostnite.
can't shoot him.
Yeah.
It's not as bad
Ranged
as
attack hurts the
it's a
user.
lot like it's a lot like smoke screens.
It means
You can't shoot them.
If you shoot him, it hurts you. It
Right.
ricochets back
See,
at you.
what I'll end up doing a
boomerang.
lot on Ricochet is sometimes I'll just take. They are easier than smoke screens because you can just kill yourself, and it works really effectively. If you're like, whatever, you know what? Let's do this. You just kill yourself, but you do a bunch of damage, and then your friend just picks you up, and you just do it again, right?
Right.
Pick you up to full health, go at it again. As long as you're coordinated with a team, it's not so bad. However, if you're determined not to die, you want to use things like miniguns or your skills, your traps. You can shoot him until your shield is gone, and then use other attacks until your shield comes back. And that way, when you're ricocheting, you're only hitting your shields. You're never hurting yourself. You can use healing campfires on the ground to regenerate.
Right.
So you can just shoot them and shoot them and shoot them, and then heal, and then use other like grenades and shockwaves and whatever you got, right? So there are ways of dealing with the ricochet. The key thing to know is that when you shoot him, you are doing damage to yourself. If you're lucky, he'll bug out and you'll shoot him and you won't take any damage at all and you just win.
Yeah.
Which happens way more often than you would think.
How best do you deal with Ricochet then?
Just don't use... Shoot him until your shields are gone.
Okay.
And then try to build him into like repair the walls, try to build him into a box, try to hit him with traps until your shields come back, shoot him some more, or coordinate with your friends to shoot him until you die and then revive and do it again. Okay. That's the most effective. That's the fastest way to do it.
You don't use traps.
No, the fastest way to kill him is to kill yourself.
Okay, wow.
Because guns are the most powerful thing. If you shoot guns, you're going to wreck him hard. But you're going to wreck yourself hard too.
Okay.
But as long as you got friends to pick you back up again, it's not of an issue. Just like whatever, you could just be, I'm going down, boys, and just like unload, just blah, yeah, picked back up, and again, but you'll take huge chunks of health off. So it works really, really well.
All right.
And then so now the last one is definitely damage pulse. Now damage pulse is a nightmare scenario if you get caught. If he gets into your base,
what does damage pulse do?
You just lose.
What do they do?
What does it do? Damage pulse. Imagine exploding death burst, except every 2 seconds.
So what does that mean? When something dies,
boom, everything's hit by damage. Boom, everything's get hit by damage.
When something dies near it?
No. All the time.
When does it explode?
Pulse.
Oh, it just
pulse.
All the time.
Pulse.
Oh, okay.
Kill everything. And it
hurts your walls as well.
Everything hits your walls. It hits you.
Tanks?
I don't know if it affects propane tanks, but it's bad.
Oh, it says here they can and will set off propane tanks.
It will set off propane tanks. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. It's horrible. Damage pulse is basically, if you see damage pulse, you do not let him get close to your base.
Oh,
you piss him off. You drag him around. You're like, hey, buddy. Hey, come here. It's like, get really close to him. You want to get close to him because you want him to chase you, right?
Yeah.
You keep him away from the base at all costs. Because if he gets into the base, everything is dead.
Wow.
He will ruin your whole base so hard, so fast. It is bad news. Damage pulse is icky, man. It is icky. So you better hope that you don't get a damage pulse with tank and...
Frenzy.
There's so many.
Yeah, what's the worst combos?
Wall weakening.
Oh.
Because that means he's going to go straight for the walls, meaning you can't tank it, you can't kite him away.
Right.
If he has wall weakening,
So damage pulse, knockback, wall weakening.
No, knockback doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Knockback. It's basically just like damage pulse, wall weakening, tank.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Right.
Just like he's too strong to kill fast. He's going to go straight for your walls. God forbid you're on a map that doesn't have radar and he gets in there before you even realize he's there.
Right.
If you don't see him on radar, you're in so much trouble.
Okay.
Because then he'll get inside the base. He's got the wall weakening. Your whole base is just like toast. He's just going to like blow everything to smithereens.
Is it possible to have trap vulnerable and damage pulse, or is it you can't have those combos don't go together? Or you're not sure?
I don't think I've ever seen that. Usually the 4 ones are like those are the big bads, right? And then they're supplemental to other things.
Right. What would you say is the worst combination overall with Ricochet, Smokescreen, Trap Vulnerable, and Damage
The
Pulse?
worst possible mini boss you could possibly fight?
Yeah, what do you think that would be?
Smokescreen.
Okay.
Tank.
You have to use melee. Okay.
Of course, a smasher boss, because they can come in 3 sizes, right?
Right.
You can come in husky, or smasher. Smasher is the biggest, baddest, hardest to kill. He's got the most health. So if you have a smokescreen smasher with tank and with probably wall weakening.
Frenzy?
Wall weakening.
Okay,
because the wall weakening, the problem with wall weakening is that he goes after your walls.
Right. Okay.
And he's going to break all your traps.
Yeah.
He's going to break your walls. He's going to leave your base wide open, which is a huge problem. You got smokescreen, so you got to get in close. You get in close, he just smash.
Yeah, true.
You know, it's bad news.
Okay.
I mean, at least if he's a frenzy, you can always just have him chase you around. You'd be like, let's just leave. Just take him away, right? The worst, a lot of the worst bosses in the entire game, you can beat them just by being like, hey, Eddie, just kite him over there.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, Meags,
Chase me.
get her. Meags is like, hey, chase me.
After me.
That's often if the boss is horrible enough, you just be like, just take him away.
Just take him away.
Just take him away from
we
the
did
base.
that in Fortnite quite a bit.
Yeah, we sometimes there's bosses that are too nasty to kill.
And what was really good with the smashers was they would charge at you and you put that reversible ramp and you make them fly up over you
Right.
into a pit or something.
Right, they do a charge. You just put a ramp in front of you and they go over your head.
Yeah.
And it's funny. And you can just kite them around for the entire rest of the match. So you lose one of your defenders, one of your guys is dedicated to just basically placating that boss. But you know, that's where bosses like wall weakening are really bad because they don't care about you.
Yeah.
They're like, I only care about busting your walls up. So that's where like having a tank wall weakening damage pulse is a nightmare because they're going to charge right into the worst possible place and blow everything up. And you're just like, But like smokescreen's even worse than that because you can't kill them. Like, what's worse, having your base blow up or just having a guy that won't die? They're both terrible, right? There's some horrible combinations in this game, and if you get the wrong one, you're hooped.
So those are the 4.
That's the 4 horrible
Ricochet,
ones.
smokescreen, trap vulnerable, damage pulse. Then we have about 15 other mini little things that could.
Right. So let's talk about the augment effects. So there's your typical fire, water, nature.
Yeah.
They can always come out as fire, water, nature, which is awesome. You know, if they're fire, water, nature, that's a simple fix. Fire kills nature. Nature kills water. Water kills fire.
Right.
So if they're nature, you just hit them with fire.
And what was the best way to remember that for me was that
Pokemon.
Yeah. So fire.
Charmander kills Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur kills Squirtle. Squirtle kills Charmander.
Right.
Water, fire, nature, water.
Yeah.
It's rock, paper, scissors.
It's so hard for me to remember sometimes.
Yeah, you get used to it.
Alright, the next one was acid pools.
Just remember, red kills yellow kills blue kills red.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything to me.
Any one of those. If you can memorize any one of those combination of things, it's easy. You see fire, ooh, water, put it out.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
You see water, ooh. Nature. Electrocute it.
What helped me with that nature was that nature is like a plant and it's absorbing the water from
Right.
the ground.
You can look at it as one of 2 ways. It's like a Bulbasaur kill, you know.
Right.
It's like a plant eating water, or it's like electricity zapping water.
Yeah.
So, and then fire just destroys nature.
Right. Because it's like
burn the plants.
Yeah, you think of like a forest fire. It's killing all the plants.
Fire burns plants but gets put out by water. Nature drinks water but gets burned by fire. Water puts out fire but gets eaten by nature.
Yeah.
So you got that. So that one's easy. That if you see one of those, it's like, okay, cool. We have
So I guess you got a forest fire, and the fire is burning down the plants. So the fire.
We're getting way too deep into this.
I need to remember this. So I keep forgetting this. Fire is burning all the plants. So fire kills nature, and then you have the nature's like, oh no, I gotta fight back. I've got to stop dying or whatever, and it's like absorbing all the water from under the ground, like trying to heal itself. And then the firefighters. So then nature kills water. It's killing it, it's using it up, it's, I don't know, taking it away. And then you got the firefighters running around, they're like spraying water everywhere. And they're like, no, we're gonna get rid of all the fire. It's caused everything. It's caused the fight from the beginning. And so water attacks fire, because obviously water counteracts fire.
Are you good?
So, yeah, I'm good. Okay, I needed that. Now I've got the visual in my head, I won't forget.
Yes, she will.
Hey! Quiz me in a week.
Alright, so moving on to the next ones. What else we got?
Acid pools.
Acid pools. Okay, acid pools are pretty simple. Don't stand in acid. It burns you. It sucks.
Right.
Which is really bad if you're fighting a smokescreen guy with acid pools on him.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a guy that you can only fight with melee, but if you go close to him, you're dead.
You're gonna die. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Then we have tank.
Tank just means he's hard to kill.
He's just strong.
Yeah, he's got tons of health.
Okay.
Tons of health. Tanks are really, really, really beefy.
Wall weakening.
Wall weakening means they're going to completely ignore the players and they're going to go straight for your buildings. And when they punch the building the first time, the building gets a vulnerability on it. When he punches it the second time, it's done. Explodes. As soon as it's weak, the second hit will kill it.
Berserker.
Berserker means they get crazy
They're running around like crazy.
Yeah, it means as soon as let's see. I'm trying to remember what's the difference between Berserker and Frenzy.
Right.
One of them is when they get low on health.
Let me have a look.
The other is when they get shot.
So, Berserker boss becomes enraged and quickened once it reaches 50% health.
Berserker, yeah. So
Frenzy
when
boss is always quickened.
Frenzy, okay. So Frenzies is just crazy. Frenzies are crazy. They just go nuts. They're super fast.
Okay.
And they attack fast, right?
Right.
Right. So Frenzies, they move fast and attack fast.
Right.
Whereas Berserkers, they get really, really mad when you hurt them. So once they're down to half health, they go in nuts and they start running super fast and just smashing everything into dust, which is really nasty when they have water or slowing effect, and they're targeting you.
Yeah. So Berserker becomes enraged and quickened once it gets 50% health.
Yeah.
All right.
Berserkers is nastier. It's
yeah.
worse because
Yeah.
once they get to 50%, they become like a massive problem.
Right. Okay. Then we have Building Blocker.
Building Blocker. Okay, Building Blocker is pretty simple. They will target your buildings instead of you, just like the wall weakening guys.
Yeah.
But except that when anywhere that they're going, they basically just leave like rock formations all over the floor where they're walking.
Right.
And you can't build anywhere around those areas.
Right.
So if they walk through an area, you're not going to be able to put any walls up for like 30 seconds after they leave.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's pretty gross.
Okay. So how do you deal with that then?
You can't.
You just deal with it.
You have to go on husk hunting duty, and you have to just basically protect a base with no walls.
You just deal with.
You have to really.
You
try to get one guy to go chase after the boss and deal with him, but your team has to basically defend a base with no walls.
Okay.
So you have to kill everything that's trying to get in because there's no walls, right? So you have to be really aggressive at killing the husks and the huskies and keep them away.
I guess if you see a building blocker, you do that, and then you have to see what other things are combined with it to figure out its
That's the
weakness.
thing, is you don't know how fast you're going to be able to take it down. It's really situational. You got to kill him as fast as you can, but
and you use the counters
if he's leaving holes in your walls, you got to make sure that those holes don't result in a loss.
Right. Okay. Then it's corrosive.
Corrosive just means that he burns whatever he hits. So he's going to go punch your walls, or he'll punch you, and you'll burn.
It says it applies corrosion to all three types of buildings with its attacks.
Yeah. So basically, he's just going to mess up your walls really, really bad.
Okay.
So if he punches something, it's going to burn. It's like metal corrosion, except it's everything corrosion.
Right.
So, and that's really bad when you have corrosion on a damage pulse.
Ooh.
Because the damage pulse hits everything, and the corrosion will destroy everything.
Okay.
God forbid you get wall weakening and corrosion and damage pulse on the same enemy, and you just automatically have no base forever.
Wow, that's pretty bad.
It's bad, man. It's like if the wrong combination of abilities end up on the boss, man, it is a bad day for you.
All right, then we have Healer.
Healer, that's just he has more health. He heals. No big deal.
He heals himself. It says boss emits waves to heal nearby enemies with medium cooldowns.
Yeah, he can heal himself. He'll heal his friends.
Okay.
It's not really a big deal, honestly. That's if you see Healer, you're like, oh yes.
It doesn't heal that much.
Oh yes. You don't care.
You don't care. You're just trying to bring
like typically, if you're, I mean, it's the same as like fighting healing death burst.
Okay.
It's annoying for your gas traps.
Okay.
But like, if you as a player are fighting against a healing death burst, you're just gonna kill one at a time.
Right.
So the healing's never gonna do anything.
Okay.
So if he's healing all his friends, well, who cares? Just kill one at a time.
Right.
It's not gonna. The healing won't do anything.
Makes sense.
It's when the gas trap is like burning everyone and they're melting, and all of a sudden they're like, they're not melting. The gas traps aren't doing anything. It's basically a nightmare for gas traps.
Okay.
It's what it is.
Then we have Shield Breaker. It says
but it's a win for you. If you see Healer, you're probably gonna win.
Okay.
That's a gimme.
Shield Breaker. It says the boss can flash into the fort, cause a big problem if there's no way for players to get in the fort to kill them. For example, all walls and ceilings are full size and being placed with a trap.
What?
I don't know. Fortnite Wikipedia.
What's that again?
Boss can flash. This is Shield Breaker. Can flash into the fort, causing a big problem if there's no way for players to get into the fort to kill them.
Oh yeah, that's the teleporting thing I was talking about.
Oh, is Shield Breaker teleporting?
Yeah, Shield Breaker means they can teleport up to the roof. They can teleport into the base.
Shield Breaker. This should be called teleporter or something.
They're just annoying. They can go inside. They can just like.
They can teleport around. Okay.
Which technically a lot of them do anyway, even without shield breaker.
Why is it called shield breaker? This makes sense to me.
It's more like
breaks the shield.
Wall breacher is more like it.
Wall breacher, yeah. Okay. So how do you deal with that one? You can't. You just have to follow him around.
You just kill him.
You just gotta figure out where he's.
He's annoying. He's one of those guys who's like, ah, dang it, he's inside the base. You just wait for him to break a wall, and then you run in and kick his friend.
Okay. All right. Next is vampiric. What does that do?
That just basically they hit stuff, they heal, right? So if they hit you, they're gonna regenerate health. So you make sure you don't get close to them. You just shoot them, stay away from them, keep doing damage.
They hit buildings and they heal themselves.
I'm pretty sure a vampiric only affects when they hit you.
Oh, okay.
I don't think
modifier is the same as the life leech attacks.
Right. It only heals them if they hit a player. So if they're hitting people, then you're in trouble.
Right.
But if they're hitting walls, then no big deal. You know,
okay.
They're not going to heal if they don't have anything to vampirize. So just stay away from them.
Stay away.
Just shoot them from range. Don't get too close. So, oh, what's that? It's a vampire with smoke screens. Damn it!
No. Not my day. Knockback. What does that do?
That's just an auto win.
It knocks you back?
Yeah, they just punch you far.
Oh, okay.
They hit you, you go flying. Like, who cares? That doesn't not even a downside.
Oh, okay.
It's like, oh no, you knocked me away from you. Oh darn. Thank you.
Which one would that be good for? Like the one that would be good to be away from.
I've never seen a situation where knockback was a negative for us.
Right.
That's almost like a positive. If you have a knockback on a mini boss, that's like oh sweet, we're winning.
Right.
It's like it's like it's your best friend.
Okay. I think that's it. Oh, we talked about frenzy.
Yeah.
So, slowing pool.
Slowing pools just means that they leave puke on the ground that slows you down.
What's the difference between slowing pools and acid pools?
Acid burns you. Acid burns you.
Oh, okay.
Slowing just slows you.
Okay.
So it's just this big goo on the ground that when you try to run over it, it slows you down.
Okay, that's all of them.
There you go.
Done.
So guys, that is how you deal with the mini boss nightmares. They have lots of different effects. Some of them are just impossible. If you're fighting an impossible combination, try to get one of your players to just take them away, lead them outside the base, get them away from the battlefield so they don't mess up your base. And if they are the type of enemy that you actually can deal with, then just be coordinated with your team. Make sure your team knows, you communicate well what you're dealing with. If you have the right elemental weapon to deal with the enemy, it's going to be a huge advantage. So if you carry a nice, set of weapons for that purpose, you're going to do really, really well. And just be prepared. Know your counters, and you'll be smashing those mini bosses into dust.
There's one thing I'd like to add though is firstly, where do mini bosses spawn? Are they in Plankerton? Are they in Stonewood? Where do they come from? Are they only in Twine?
Mini bosses typically they spawn in group missions, 4-player missions.
Oh, okay.
But they also spawn in alerts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so 4-player missions and alerts.
If you want, only in Twine, or are they?
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Okay.
Everywhere that you're fighting a 4-player mission, or an alert, you're going to be fighting.
Okay, so modifiers are in all zones. Okay, I didn't know that. I'm so used to being in Twine.
Yeah. If you're fighting a 4-player group mission, or if you're fighting an alert like for a V-Bucks or whatever, you're going to find mini bosses. You can actually see them.
What, you can't see that on here? I can go to streaming scene now.
Okay, so if you look right here, we're going to go to a group mission right here, and you can see the skull. You see the skull right there? Epic mini boss is a skull.
Right.
An epic mini boss may appear in this area. Every single 4-player group mission will have this. Also, these ones, the alerts, will also have the epic mini boss as well.
Oh yeah, it says epic mini boss.
Yeah,
Okay.
epic mini boss. So you can see epic mini boss.
It doesn't tell you what it is until you get in there.
You don't know. They're random.
Yeah. Okay, it's random.
In fact, they're so random that if you were to do a mission like an Atlas mission where you fail the defense and then you repair it in that mission and try again,
right,
a second mini boss that is completely different will show up and fight you then too.
Oh wow.
And mini bosses can show up at a varying degree of time. I've had mini bosses show up with only 1 minute left in the match where there was no chance that you could actually kill him. I've also fought mini bosses that showed up like prematurely, like really, really early. Typically, the mini boss comes with about 3 minutes left, 2 or 3 minutes left. That's about normal. And it's enough time to kill him. And if you kill a mini boss, you can get some sweet rewards, man. You can get evolution materials, you can get perk up, you can get legendary schematics. At a really high level, like in the power level 100, you can get some really sweet stuff.
Yeah.
So mini bosses, you want to kill them. You really want to kill them. If it's possible to kill them, you're gonna go hard trying to destroy these guys.
Right.
Because the compensation is there for a quick 2-minute battle with a mini boss. You're gonna get as much rewards as a 20-minute mission could give you.
Okay.
So it's definitely in your best interest to understand the mini bosses and kill them and get those crazy rewards.
One last thing I'd like to add is apparently there's different kind of timings for when the mini bosses will actually spawn. So for Fight the Storm, retrieve the data and evacuate the shelter, the mini bosses appear at 5 minutes after the main defense has started. Deliver the bomb and repair the shelter, they appear 1 minute after the beginning of the main defense. And for Ride the Lightning, it appears 1 minute after the beginning of stage 2.
Cool.
That's the timings.
Yep.
Cool.
Unless they decide to not do that, in which case, haha, sucker!
Rude.
Yeah, which happens too. I've had it happen tons of times where they didn't show up when they were supposed to show up.
Right.
And you're just like, oh jeez.
No.
The worst is the 1 minute left.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate when they show up with 1 minute left on the clock because you're like, oh, come on, man. There's not even enough time to kill this guy. I want that reward. Oh.
True. My life is over. I needed to kill that mini boss.
All right, Meags, you happy?
I'm happy.
All right, so that's our mini boss discussion. I really hope that helps you guys out understanding the mini bosses, how to defeat them, what the counters are, what the strategies are to deal with all these nightmare combinations. Yeah. All right, guys. If you found this helpful, if you really like this review, then yeah, like, subscribe, ring that bell, leave a thumbs up, and comment down below if there's any other videos you'd like me to cover. Thank you so much for all the support, guys. Thank you for helping us, grow our Twitch community and grow our YouTube community and just be a success here. You guys are awesome. Thank you for all the support. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.